Hello, BookTube. It's Holy Sunday or Holy Saturday for some other people, and after this will be the 21st episode of Holy Sunday, and finally, I'm going to be reading you some of the Bible today. This is the NIV translation. This is the only one I have of it, and I thought we'd read one of my favorite books today, the book of Jonah. For those who know, but it is a wild book. It's very short, so that's why I chose it. But also, it's a lot of crazy stuff happens in here, and I love it to death. And so I'm going to be reading to you from the NIV translation. So wish me luck because I suck at reading. But anyway, here is the book of Jonah. The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come before me. But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed to Tarshish, where he went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound at the port. After paying the fare, he went aboard the sail for Tarshish to flee from the Lord. The Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a violent storm arose, and the ship threatened to break up. All the sailors were afraid, and each cried out to his own God, and they threw the cargo into the sea to lighten the ship. But Jonah had gone below the deck, where he can lay down and fall into a deep sleep. The captain went to him and said, "How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will take us notice of us, so that we could not perish." Then the sailors said to each other, "Come, let us cast lots to find out who is responsible for this calamity." They cast lots. Oh my God, sorry. They cast lots, and lot fell on Jonah. So they asked him, "Tell us, who is responsible for making all this trouble for us? What kind of work do you do? Where do you come from? What is your country? And from what people are you?" He answered, "I am a Hebrew. I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and dry land." This terrified them, and they asked, "What have you done?" They knew he was running away from the Lord because he had already told them so. The sea was getting rougher and rougher, so they asked him, "What should we do to you to make the sea calm down for us?" "Pick me up and throw me into the sea," he replied, "and before the clam, I know that it is my fault that this great storm has come upon you." Instead, the men did their best to row back to land, but they could not, for the sea grew even wilder than before. Then they cried out to the Lord, "Please, Lord, do not let us die for taking this man's life. Do not hold us accountable for killing an innocent man, for you, Lord, have you done as you pleased." Then they took Jonah and threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm. And at this, they greatly fearing the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord, and made vows to him. Now the Lord proved a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. From inside the fish, Jonah prayed to the Lord God. He said, "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered to me. From the deep in the realm of the dead I called for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas, and the currents swirled about me. All your waves and breakers swept over me. I said, I have been banished from your sight, yet I will look again toward your holy temple. The engulfing waters threatened me, and deep surrounded me. Seaweed and wrapped around my head. To roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth barred me in forever. But Lord, my God, brought my life up from the pits. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose up to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God. For them, sorry, for them, but I wish shouts of grateful praise and sacrifice to you. That I have vowed I will make good. I will say salvation comes from the Lord. And the Lord commanded the fish, it vomited Jonah onto dry land. And the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim it to the message I give you. Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and began to went to Nineveh. And Nineveh was a very large city. It took 3 days to go through it. Jonah began by going on a day's journey into the city proclaiming, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. But Nineveh believed God and fast proclaimed to all of them, and from the greatest to the least put on sackcloth. When Jonah's warning reached the king of the Nineveh, he rose from his throne and took off his royal robes, covered himself in the sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. This proclamation he issued to Nineveh: By the decree of the king and his nobles, do not let people or animals, herds or flocks, taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink, but let people and animals be covered in the sackcloth. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? God may yet relent and come with passion and turn his fierce anger so that we will not perish. Then God saw what they did and how they turned away from their evil, but he relented and did not bring them into destruction he had threatened. But to Jonah this seemed very wrong, and he became angry. He prayed to the Lord, Isn't this what I said, Lord, when I was still at home? That this is what I tried to forestall by fleeing to Tarshish? I knew that you were a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Now, Lord, take away my life, for it is better for me to die than to live. But the Lord, he replied, Isn't it right for you to be angry? Jonah had gone out and sat down at a place east of the city, where he had made himself a shelter, sat in its shade, and waited to see what would happen to the city. Then the Lord God provided a leafy plant, and it made it grow over Jonah to give him shade for his head, to ease his discomfort. And Jonah was very happy about the plant. But at dawn the next day, oh my God, I'm up to sorry. But dawn the next day, God provided a worm, which chewed the plant so that it withered. With the sun arose, God provided a scorching east wind, and the sun blazed on Jonah's head, so that he grew faint. He wanted to die, and said, It would be better for me to die than to live. But God said to Jonah, It is right for you to be angry about the plant. It is, he said, and I'm so angry I wish I were dead. But the Lord said, You have been concerned about this plant, for you have not tended to make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. And I should have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there was more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and also many animals. So that was the book of Jonah. Very wild. I am sorry I had to stop and start there. I'm not used to reading this translation. Like, it's the first time I probably ever read it, but it was very lovely, very unhinged, and I love it so much. But let me know in the comments what you think about this book and what is your favorite book of the Bible. So yeah, that's your Holy Sunday. Thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I'll see you next time.